अन्याभिलाषिता शून्यं ज्ञानकर्मादि अनावृतम् अनुकूलेन कृष्णानो शीलनं भक्ति उत्तमा सर्वोपाधिविनिर्मुक्तं तत्परत्वेन निर्मलं ऋषिकेन ऋषिकेशसेवनं भक्तिरुच्यते अतः श्रीकृष्णनामादि न भवेद् ग्राह्यमिन्द्रियैः सेवोन्मुखैः जिह्वादौ स्वयम् एव स्फुरत्यदः अनासक्तस्य विषयान् यतार्हम् उपयुञ्जत निर्बन्धे कृष्णसम्बन्धे युक्तं वैराग्यमुच्यते. Okay, today can someone volunteer to read? Anyone? No. Okay, fine. Yeah. Actually, this verse, which Prabhupada has given the translation, this is explaining the meaning of devotional service on, I mean, pure devotional service. But somehow Prabhupada has included this in first chapter, characteristics of pure devotional service. But yes, you can read this translation.
In Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 29th chapter, verse 12 and 13, Srila Kapila Dev, while instructing his mother, has given the following characteristics of pure devotional service. My dear mother, those who are my pure devotees and who have no desire for material benefit or philosophical speculation have their minds so much engaged in my service that they're never interested in asking me for anything except to be engaged in that service. They do not even beg to live in my abode with me.
So just so this is the verse. Prabhupada also often quotes it in his purports. Salokya saristi samipya sarupyaikattvamapyata dhiyamanam na grananti vinamatsevanam jana. So devotee only desires pleasing Krishna and Krishna's service and pleasing Krishna and love for Krishna. That alone is the devotee's focus. He doesn't even want either the Brahman liberation or even the Vaikuntha liberation. Yeah, we can read. Continue.
The goal of a devotee is only.
Below. There are five points.
There are five kinds of liberation, namely to become one with the Lord, to live with the Supreme Lord on the same planet, to have the same features as the Lord, to enjoy the same opulence as the Lord, and to live as a companion of the Lord. A devotee what to speak of rejecting material sense gratification does not even want any of the five kinds of liberation. He is satisfied simply by discharging loving service to the Lord. That is the characteristic of pure devotee.
So the jiva either he may have material relationships or spiritual relationships, material rasa, like Prabhupada has described in the preface, or spiritual relationships, that is five rasas with Bhagavan. Or he may be just liberated with no relationship, with no proper relationship. So that liberation, it can be either at Brahma Jyoti, which is called Sayujya Mukti, or it can be in Vaikuntha, which is called as Salokya, Sarishti, Sarupya, and Samipya. So in these muktis, the jiva does not have any relationship with the Lord. So like we studied in Bhagavad Gita also, we discussed in while studying Bhagavad Gita. So even though this liberation is in Vaikuntha, but the particular living entity, he or she will not have any relationship with Lord Narayan. I mean, in the five rasas, five primary rasas. He will be in the Vaikuntha and he will have some, he accepts Narayan as Bhagavan and all. But he may not have any, he will not have any the rasa with the Lord. But a pure devotee or a devotee practicing pure devotional service means he is only desiring a relationship with the Lord and and based on that relationship, service to the Lord. And no, not this liberation. Okay, can continue.
In the above statement by Kapila Dev from Srimad Bhagavatam, the actual position of a pure devotee is described, and the primary characteristics of devotional service are also defined. Further characteristics of devotional service are described by Rupa Goswami with evidences from different scriptures. He states that there are six characteristics of a pure devotional service.
Okay, fine.
Follows.
And so this is the verse written by Sri Rupa Goswami describing the six characteristics of devotional service. Kleshagni Shubhada Moksha Kleshagni Shubhada Moksha Laguta Kritsutta Vallabha Sandrananda Sheshatma Shri Krishna Akarshani Chasa. So there, like Prabhupada translates them as pure devotional service brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. Kleshagni. Pure devotional service is the beginning of all auspiciousness. Shubhada. Pure devotional service automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure. Sandrananda Vishesha. Pure devotional service is rarely achieved. Sudurlabha. Those in pure devotional service deride even the conception of liberation. Moksha Lagutaka. Pure devotional service is the only means to attract Krishna. Sri Krishna Akarshana. Now this six, they like our Acharya say, the Kleshagni and Shubhada, they prominently manifest at Nishtha stage. And Moksha Lagutakrut and Sudurlabha, they manifested Bhava stage. And finally at Prema stage, the Sandrananda Visheshatma and Sri Krishna Akarshani, they manifest. Krishna is all attracted, but pure devotional service attracts even him. This means that pure devotional service is even transcendentally stronger than Krishna himself because it is Krishna's internal potency. Okay. So, yeah, first we will discuss the Kleshagni, relief from material distress. Yes, bro, you can read in Bhagavad Gita.
In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, sorry. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that one should surrender unto Him, giving up all other engagements. The Lord also gives His word there that He will protect the surrendered souls from the reactions of all sinful activities. Srila Rupa Goswami says that the distresses from sinful activities are due to both to the sins themselves and to sins committed in our past lives. Generally, one commits sinful activities due to ignorance, but ignorance is no excuse for evading the reaction. Sinful activities. Sinful activities are of two kinds, those which are mature and those which are not mature. The sinful activities for which we are suffering at the present moment are called mature. The many sinful activities stored within us for which we have not yet suffered are considered immature. For example, a man may have committed criminal acts but not yet arrested for them. Now, as soon as he is detected, arrest is awaiting him. Similarly, for some of our sinful activities, we are awaiting distress in the future, and for others, which are mature, we are suffering at the present moment. In this way, there is chain of sinful activities and their
Incompetent.
concomitant distresses. And the conditioned soul is suffering life after life due to these sins. He is suffering in the present life the results of the sinful activities from his past life, and he is meanwhile creating further sufferings for his future life. Mature sinful activities are exhibited if one is suffering from some chronic disease, if one is suffering from some legal implication, if one is born in a low and degraded family, or if one is uneducated or very ugly.
Yeah. So, so first, initially, there is ignorance. There is avidya. Due to ignorance, what happens? One identifies oneself with the body. That no, I am this body, and the relationships, the people in relationship with this body are mine, or the things in relationship with the body are mine. Like that, one identifies. Then, with that identification, what happens? One tries to seek happiness from through body because that is what he is identifying with. So, to derive happiness from body, he may do pious activities, following the Vedic scriptures, performing yajna to demigods and asking boons from them, etc. Pious activities, or he may do sinful activities. In one sense, it is very difficult to avoid sinful activities in the worldly existence because that verse is there, no? Even while cooking, one may, because of fire, one may unconsciously may, kill some living entities. While walking, some living entities get killed. So, in that way, it is impossible to avoid sinful activities. So, then one will accrue sinful reactions. Now, this sinful reaction also, it will be two types. This ignorance thing Prabhupada is going to explain later. So one will be suffering, but also there will be tendency to commit sin. So if one, let's say, stole some, the child, let's say, the child may steal some money from his father's pocket, and may go and purchase some toffees. Initially, he may steal some, no, 2 rupees, 3 rupees, and he may purchase some toffees and may eat and, may enjoy. But then what? That will again create another desire. Let me steal more. Then he goes to the shop and he may see toffees, but then he will may see some no big chocolates or something, cool drinks, soft drinks or something. Then he will get a desire. No, let me get next time. Let me steal a 10 rupees note, and no, let me get that. So that way, the tendency to sin also will come by committing a sinful activity. Yes, because he did some mistake, in future he will face that. But the tendency to commit more sin will come. In that way, the sinful reactions one get entangled also. So then what Prabhupada explained is sinful reactions like two types. One is prarabdha karma and another is aprarabdha. So one which is mature, one which is not yet to mature. Hmm? So prarabdha means the karma that is given to you in current life. And aprarabdha means the karma that is still, it's going to come in your future lives. So prarabdha, like what it consists of, your own physical characteristics like the type of physique, fat, lean, thin, and the face cut, all all these, the different proportionate sizes, of different body parts that makes up the appearance, etc. All these things and the complexion, fair, all that, not so fair, etc. Then the talents and interests. Somebody may be talented in music, somebody may be very sharp, very intellectual, inclined. Some may, yeah, somebody may be very very easy to socialize and maybe a very good communicator, all this. So like that, different people have different talents, different interests also. Somebody like to decorate things, somebody likes to cook nice items for people. So that way, everyone will have their own unique talents and interests. And along with that, typically condition shows they will have some particular desires. Somebody wants to earn money, somebody wants to uh, have association with the opposite sex, or somebody they just want to eat nice foodstuffs. So all these kind of desires, lust, greed, anger, all these will be there. Ego, all the anarthas. So that also is part of prarabdha. So prarabdha contains all this. Like in another way, you can call the first two as vrittis, and the second, third one is vasanas. So that is there. So karma is not just negative, but also positive things also. That is also like part of karma. Or yes, like as part of prarabdha, somebody may be born handicapped, or somebody may have some particular defect. Somebody may have squinting eye, like that. Uh, Different things also. Somebody may have migraine problem, like that. Different things. Okay, so yeah, Prabhupada explains further. Uh, yes, Prabhu, you can read.
There are many results of the past sinful activities for which we are suffering at the present moment. We may be suffering in the future due to our present sinful activities. But all of these reactions to sinful deeds can immediately be stopped if we take to Krishna consciousness. As evidence for this, Rupa Goswami quotes from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 14th chapter, verse number 90. This verse is in connection with Lord Krishna's instruction to Uddhava, where he says, "My dear Uddhava, the devotional service unto me is just like a blazing fire which can burn into ashes, unlimited fuel supplied to it. The purpose is that the blazing fire can burn any amount of fuel to ashes, so devotional service to the Lord in Krishna consciousness can burn up all the fuel of sinful activities. For example, in Gita, Arjuna thought that fighting was a sinful activity, but Krishna engaged him on the battlefield under his order. And so the fighting became devotional service. Therefore, Arjuna was not subject to any sinful reactions.
Yeah. So this, like, if you see how Bhakti Rasamrita or NOD is there, so the principle of devotional service is explained, and then it is corroborated, or it is supported by verses from Bhagavatam and also sometimes other scriptures also in Padma Purana, like that. So this is how, like, our different aspects of our philosophy is described, and then they are supported by Bhagavatam, etc. So this, if we understand Bhakti Rasamrita, we understand how our philosophy is actually derived from Bhagavatam. So this is the verse. Yatagnisu samruddharche karoti edamsi basmasat tat tata mat vishaya bhaktir udvainamshi kritsnasaha. My dear Uddhava, just as a blazing fire turns firewood into ashes, similarly devotion unto me completely burns to ashes, sins committed by my devotees. So now, what sins they get destroyed? Yes, all sins ultimately should get destroyed. But what exactly the destruction of sins entail? So it is said like first for the devotee, the aprarabdha karma, like uh, Jiva Goswami gives this analogy, explains like you take a stack of leaves and pierce a needle through it. So first, the needle gradually goes through each leaf, and ultimately it comes out of that stack. So the same way, the karmas of the devotee are gradually destroyed. It doesn't happen instantly. And generally, the first that gets destroyed is aprarabdha. So when aprarabdha gets destroyed, I mean, you will not feel any difference because prarabdha is still intact. So your life, your current situation, everything is governed by prarabdha karma. So first, if the aprarabdha karma of a devotee is destroyed, then he will not understand it. I mean, it will remain imperceptible. Then eventually, yes, prarabdha will get destroyed, but prarabdha generally gets destroyed in part of prarabdha is sinful desires and anarthas. That gets destroyed. But these things remain intact. Physical characteristics, talents, and interests. There is another explanation like, yes, prarabdha gets destroyed, but Krishna gives almost the same prarabdha. But if you see like if a devotee has a particular complexion, it doesn't mean that if after spiritual advancement, the complexion will change or something. That remains same. There is another explanation that yes, it means the prarabdha of the devotee, the control will go to Krishna and the internal energy and not the external energy, Prakriti. So that is one explanation for that. But the life events and all are generally whatever is destined in the prarabdha at the time of birth. Generally, they go in a similar pattern. There will be some changes, but generally the change will not be so much. Okay, yeah. So you can take around uh, 5 minutes, or no, 3 minutes is sufficient. We should complete as much as possible today. Can take around 3 minutes and think about some examples from Shastra of devotees who are freed from sinful activities on practice of on starting devotional service. And in your own life, you can see like over your practice of Krishna consciousness, what all negative tendencies you could overcome or got reduced at least, even if they did not become zero. You can write your own. Okay, after that, we'll discuss. Okay, yes. First question. Do you know? Okay, yes, Amrita Mataji.
वो जगाई मत आई
Okay, Jagai Madai. Good. Okay, thank you. Yes, Srimati Vasudha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Ajamila Prabhu.
Ajamila also you can say. Okay, fine. Okay, thank you. Next, Sharad Murari Prabhu.
Mrigari Broji, the hunter.
Mrigari. Okay, okay. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so these are examples of how the karma of the devotee gets destroyed on taking to devotional service. The next one, I think you have made your list, so that is for your own reference. But this becomes more pronounced at the stage of Nishta. It starts, but it becomes more prominent at the stage of Nishta. Okay. Yes, but you can continue reading. Sure.
Srila Rupa Goswami quotes another verse from the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 33rd chapter, verse 6, in which Devahuti addresses her son Kapila Dev and says, "My dear Lord, there are 9 different kinds of devotional service, beginning from hearing and chanting. Anyone who hears about your pastimes, who chants about your glories, who offers you obeisances, who thinks of you, and in this way executes any of the 9 kinds of devotional service, even if he is born in a family of a dog eater, the lowest grade of mankind, becomes immediately qualified to perform sacrifices. As such, how is it possible that anyone actually engaged in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness has not become purified? Is it not possible? One who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and devotional service has, without doubt, become freed from all contamination of the material sinful activities. Devotional service, therefore, has the power to actually nullify all kinds of reactions to sinful deeds. A devotee is nevertheless always alert not to commit any sinful activities. This is his specific qualification as a devotee. Thus, Srimad Bhagavatam states that by performing devotional service, a person who was born even in a family of dog eaters may become eligible to take part in performance of ritualistic ceremonies recommended in the Vedas. It is implicit in this statement, that a person born into a family of dog eaters is generally not fit for performing yajna or sacrifices. The priestly caste is in charge of performing these ritualistic ceremonies recommended in the Vedas is called the Brahmana order. Unless one is a Brahmana, he cannot perform these ceremonies. A person is born in a Brahmana family or in a family of a dog eaters due to his past activities. If a person is born in a family of a dog eater, it means that his past activities were all sinful. But if even such a person takes to the path of devotional service and begins to chant the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, he is at once fit to perform the ritualistic ceremonies. This means that his sinful reactions have immediately become neutralized.
Yeah. So basically, what Prabhupada is saying that even if a person is born in a family of a dog eater, so that if somebody like where how one is born also is decided by the karma, means decided by one's activities in the previous lives. So one has acted in a sinful way and all, one will be born in a low birth. Low birth is one of the implies that one is s- sinful, predominantly sinful in previous life, at least. So yes, but when one takes to devotional service and makes good progress in devotional service, the at least the aprarabdha karma is destroyed. So in that way, his activities, sinful reactions, what are responsible for his uh, low birth, I mean, which are which some got fructified, some are still there, so that got destroyed. And again, his consciousness also gets elevated. No, he is freed from all anarthas and all. So compared to a Brahmana, his in consciousness he is advanced. And in karma also, his karma is fully destroyed. So in that way also he is advanced. So in that way, he becomes better than a Brahmana and is eligible to perform. But in so socially, in his situation will not transform suddenly or something. Though I mean that will remain. Like he may be born, he may be still considered as a low born, still in that same body, etc. If you see Haridas Thakur, though he was born in a Muslim family and all, I mean, that fact remained the same. That did not change when he became an advanced Vaishnava or something, or topmost Vaishnava. But in terms of consciousness and purity, he became advanced. So this is another verse, I mean, verse and Prabhupada's explanation, how how bhakti destroys the sinful reactions. This is another verse from Padma Puran, which is quoted by Rupa Goswami, and Prabhupada is translating it. Aprarabdam phalam papam kutam bijam phalonmukam krameneva praliyeta Vishnu bhaktirratmanam. Yes, you can read the translation.
It is stated in the Padma Puran that there are four kinds of effects due to the sinful activities, which are listed as follows. The effect which is not yet fructified, that is aprarabdha. The effect which is lying as a seed, kutam. The effect which is already matured, prarabdha. The effect which is almost mature, bijam. It is also stated that all these four effects become immediately vanquished for those who surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu and become engaged in his devotional service in full Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. So this Kutam, Bijam, they are more or like less part of Aprarabdha karma. But they are like if somebody has to get a particular body in the next life, let's say. So there will be some impressions already in this life which indicate that kind of body or that kind of existence. So that is considered that in that actually Kutam and Bijam they explain. But yeah, they are not so important in this context to understand. Some I found at some places like the sinful tendency, the sinful inclination is called Kutam and Bijam, but that is not exactly correct as per the scriptures, etc. Yeah, you can read, continue those effects.
Those effects described as almost mature refer to the distress from which one is suffering at present, and the effects lying as seed are in the core of the heart, where there is a certain stock of sinful desires which are like seeds. The Sanskrit word kutam means that they are almost ready to produce the seed or the effect of the seed. An immature effect refers to the case where the seedling has not begun. From this statement of Padma Puran, it is understood that the material contamination is very subtle. Its beginning, its fruit, fruition, and results, and how one suffers such results is the form of distress, are part of a great chain. When one catches some disease, it is often very difficult to ascertain the cause of the disease, where it originated, and how it is maturing. The suffering of a disease, however, does not appear all of a sudden. It actually takes time. And as in the medical field, the precaution's sake, the doctor injects a vaccination to prevent the growing of the contamination. The practical injection to stop all the fructification of the seeds of our sinful activities is simply engagement in Krishna consciousness.
Yes, so because yeah, so all the sinful reactions get destroyed. Means all prarabdha as well as prarabdha. Prarabdha means you have to understand it properly. So you should not think that somebody has a not a so high paying job and no I'm doing devotional service for last so many years. Why it is not changing? So that is not a proper understanding of it. One should not see, one should also not have some expectation. One is those things which are part of us currently, which are not favorable for devotional service, they will get destroyed. Other things generally they will remain the same. Yeah, the change, the control from goes from Prakriti to Krishna, but the situation, the life events generally they remain the same. Or one should not see others and judge their advancement. If somebody has some difficulties, then thinking that no, oh, which means they're still there getting their simple reactions. So that shows they are not advanced. So that is also not again proper. If one is advancing oneself in their dedication, in their sadhana, they are more focused in their sadhana. Well, that shows the advancement. Because this is not the main goal. This is one of the byproducts of bhakti. The main goal is the more and more one is dedicated to the service of Krishna and more desiring love for Krishna. That is the thing. Yeah, you can read by performing.
By performing the Vedic ritualistic activities, by giving money in charity, and by undergoing austerity, one can temporarily become free from the reactions of the sinful activities. But at the next moment, he must again become engaged in sinful activities. For example, a person suffering from a venereal disease on account of excessive indulgence in sex life has to undergo some severe pain in medical treatment, and he is then cured for the time being. But because he has not been able to remove the sex desire from his heart, he must again indulge in the same thing and become a victim of the same disease. So, medical treatment may give temporary relief from the distress of such a venereal disease. But unless one is trained to understand that sex life is abominable, it is impossible to be saved from such repeated distress. Similarly, the ritualistic performances, charity, and austerity, which are recommended in the Vedas, may temporarily stop one from acting in a sinful ways. But as long as the heart is not clear, one will have to repeat sinful activities again and again.
Okay. Yeah, so Prabhupada gave us example of the venereal disease. So the external disease may go away, but through medical treatment. But the medical treatment will not cure the desire for that illicit activity. So again, that disease may come again. So similarly, the Vedic rituals like charity, fasting, the sinful tendencies will be still present. Like yes, because of some previous life sinful activities, somebody may be suffering. Like many of you must have heard about no Sadhe Sati, that period of 7.5 years. So then some Vedic astrologers or like some Purohit, they may tell some things like in some scriptures they tell about if you do this charity to somebody or if you do fasting on these particular days, then the effects of Sadhe Sati may reduce. That will there. So the effects of those previous sinful activities they are reduced, they get reduced. But still, but that act of fasting and all, it will not purify one of the sinful tendencies. So still that will remain the same. So again, he may commit those sinful activities, and in again next life, Sadhe Sati again he may suffer. So that will be there. Or or it can also be like if somebody is not getting married or if someone is not getting children, some things are prescribed because one may be put in that situation likely because of some particular type of sinful activity in the previous life. So if something is done, it may happen, but again, he may be again sinful and again may again suffer in a similar way in his next life. So, then there is the process of jnana. So then if one studies philosophy and understands sinful activities actually cause entanglement. If you study that cycle, no? So you do sinful activity, then you have to suffer because of doing sinful activity. And again, your tendency to do the sinful activity will increase. So in that way, one will get entangled. So one will try to understand this philosophically and then try to avoid himself from sinful activities. So then even the sinful desires are also getting destroyed. But the ignorance means the identification with the body, it will still remain. Like we saw in Bhagavad Gita, like how even the process of jnana also needs the element of bhakti. If that element of bhakti is not there, then the process of jnana is incomplete, and one is still not, doesn't get completely purified. So the atonement through jnana is also not complete. But the atonement through bhakti is complete because the ignorance is destroyed. The living entity starts identifying as a servant of the Lord instead of getting identified with the body. So then the ignorance is destroyed, the false ego is destroyed, then automatically all the sinful activities stop, and by the power of bhakti, all the sinful reactions are destroyed. So there is no future karma getting created, and the existing karma is destroyed. Okay, yes, Prabhu, question?
Yes, Prabhu. In process of jnana, you mentioned that we understand that we should not engage in these activities because we'll get entangled.
Hmm.
What is the ignorance that is still remaining, which causes us to commit those sinful activities?
Ignorance in the sense, see, actually, the false ego, na, it is not like, it is not in our control fully. Only by the mercy of Lord, it will get dissolved. Even the process of jnana also works by the mercy of the Lord. So that what is that? That verse in Bhagavatam is there, na? Abhishuddha Buddhaya Yarvindakshe Vimuktamanis. Let me just search. Basically, yeah, somebody is practicing jnana, but he does not accept the Supreme Lord. So that verse in Bhagavatam, it says that he will not get completely purified and he may get again entangled in the bhakti activities. So the ignorance is like the ignorance of the Lord.
Okay. So that understanding, he cannot remain in that position for a long time. Eventually, he can
Uh-huh.
fall down.
Without understanding the position of the Supreme Lord, even though he's practicing jnana process very thoroughly, very seriously, with full focus, he will not get fully purified.
And also,
That
Prabhuji,
is the thing.
uh, like some of my friends are in Jain community, so they are like having this
Mm.
paryushan where they are following very strict vows
Ah,
of not eating or not walking with chappals and all those things,
yeah.
where they were trying to reduce these sinful activities. But as you
Mm.
mentioned that
Mm.
even in the process of Gyan, there will be some sinful activity which we cannot avoid also.
Ah. Hey, one thing is, as long as you're you're and you're involved in the world, so some sinful activity will get happening. Like that verse is there
Yeah.
in one Padma Purana or somewhere. Like while cooking, also you're performing some sinful activity. All these things. So that is there. Like Gyanis, what they do, they go to, I mean, Jnana Yoga, proper Jnana Yoga means you have to go to forest and to just depend on the nature, whatever nature provides, you should depend on that and should just contemplate on all these things, how the suffering is entanglement, on the philosophy, all that. Okay. Yes, you can read this paragraph.
Another example given in Srimad Bhagavatam concerns the elephant who enters into the lake and takes a bath very seriously, cleansing his body thoroughly. Then, as soon as he comes onto the shore, he again takes some dust from the earth and throws it over his body. Similarly, a person who is not trained in Krishna consciousness cannot become completely free from the desire of sinful activities. Neither the yoga process, nor philosophical speculations, nor fruitive activities can save one from the seed of sinful desires. Only by being engaged in devotional service can this be done.
Yeah, so this is the thing. Yeah, at least see if the jnana person, na, at least the doership will be there. Na? See, I am able to free myself from all the sinful reactions. So, the like Prabhupada also describes, na, this is the last snare of Maya. I am the God. Means I only, by my efforts, all this purification has happened. So, that entanglement will be there. So, yeah, you can read the last paragraph, this tight note.
This tight knot of false ego is due to ignorance. As long as one is ignorant about his identity, he is sure to act wrongly and thereby become entangled in material contamination. This ignorance of factual knowledge can also be dissipated by Krishna consciousness, as is confirmed in the Padma Purana as follows. Pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the highest enlightenment, and when such enlightenment is there, it is just like a blazing forest fire, killing all the inauspicious snakes of desires. The example is being given in this connection that when there is a forest fire, the extensive blazing automatically kills all the snakes in the forest. There are many, many snakes on the ground of the forest, and when the fire takes place, it burns the dried foliage, and the snakes are immediately attacked. Animals who have four legs can flee from the fire or can at least try to flee, but the snakes are immediately killed. Similarly, the blazing fire of Krishna consciousness is so strong that the snakes of ignorance are immediately killed.
Yeah. So all these sinful reactions, they are compared to snakes, and they all get destroyed. Okay. So we go to the next quality, which is called Shubhada. Krishna consciousness is all auspicious. Okay, any more questions on this thing? Anyone? On how sinful reactions get destroyed by bhakti? Okay. Okay, there are no questions. Yeah, we'll proceed. So this Shubhada has four aspects, as described by Sri Rupa Goswami in this verse. Shubhani Prennam Sarva Jagatam Anurakta Sadguna Sukham iti adini akhyatani manishibi. Shubhada has four, like Sarva Jagata Preenanam, which means affection for all living entities. Then Sarva Jagata Anurakta, being attractive to all living entities. Then third is Sadguna, generally the 26 Vaishnava qualities. Then Sukham, the bliss in Bhakti. One will experience bliss in Bhakti. May not be like complete bliss as one in Prema, but he will start to experience bliss in Bhakti. So one may say that this Sarva Jagata Preenanam and Sarva Jagata Anurakta is also there in 26 Vaishnava qualities, but they are explicitly mentioned because they are they are the prominent ones for a devotee, I mean, to identify a devotee. So that's why they are mentioned. This is what Jiva Goswami explains in his comment. So Prabhupada first is explaining the Sarva Jagata Preenanam. Yes, you can read the paragraph.
Sarva Jagata Prenana. Srila Rupa Goswami has given a definition of auspiciousness. He says that actual auspiciousness means welfare activities for all people of the world. At the present moment, groups of people are engaged in the welfare activities in terms of society, community, or nation. There is even an attempt in the form of a United Nations for World Health activity. But due to shortcomings of limited national activities, such a general mass welfare program for the whole world is not practically possible. The Krishna consciousness movement, however, is so nice that it can render the highest benefit to the entire human race. Everyone can be attracted by this moment and everyone can feel the result. If Rupa Goswami and the other learned scholars agree that a broad propaganda program for the Krishna consciousness movement of devotional service all over the world is the highest humanitarian welfare activity.
Okay, yeah. So Prabhupada is giving example of United Nations. Like United Nations, they may only want to help generally the third world, like the developed countries coming together and want to help the third world countries and also developing countries to some extent. But they don't care about, they cannot help so much. They may be able to provide aid for few countries and all, but they are not able to stop the ongoing wars, major wars. So they cannot able to do welfare. They have very limited capacity and they have also very limited desire. But Prabhupada is saying if everyone becomes Krishna conscious, then it is possible to have welfare for everyone. Like we see in the kingdom of Yudhishthira Maharaj and as described in Bhagavatam. So everyone is taken care because that everyone at least, especially the leaders, are Krishna conscious. So that's why Krishna consciousness is the highest humanitarian welfare activity. Yeah, so Sarva Jagata Prenanam means, yes, it's not like a devotee in this state means he will become a very advanced preacher, but there are more subtle aspects to it. This Satswarup Maharaj also explains in his book Vaishnava Compassion. So easily he is able to forgive and forget others' offenses. And his compassion is without any discrimination. And compassion is very natural. It means it's not like he has to be told, to go for preaching or something. He will not. He may be. I mean, like institution. He should distribute books. That also he may do, but whatever he does naturally, he will do out of compassion. Like someone may be a good in cooking, so he may just cook prasad and distribute to people or whatever. But it's like no one is forcing. It's naturally coming out because of his advancement in devotional service. Yeah, so it's not like some like a successful preacher it may not be like they may not be always advanced, but an advanced devotee will naturally preach, or at least if let's say they are bhajana nandis, or then they will pray for the welfare of everyone. Like somebody is a preacher, so they may only pray for the welfare of whom he is preaching. He may not care for let's say the other devotee, the other preachers people. I mean, it happens in conditioned states. It's not like with everyone, but yeah. So that is there. So okay, so you can take 3 minutes and you can think of some examples from Shastra where advanced devotees who easily forgave those who offended them. And give examples of those who like extreme acts of compassion also. Like like Jagai Madai, like that. Some more examples. Yeah, 3 minutes. Yeah. Yes, for first. Anyone? Okay. Yes, Raj, bro, you can tell.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Amrit Maharaj Prabhuji.
Okay, Amrish Maharaj, good. Okay, Shrikant Prabhu.
Guruji, Haridas Thakur, when he was being beaten in the mud.
Vilas Thakur, yes, correct. Yes, Ishaya Mataji, you want to tell?
Yes, Prabhuji, Draupadi had forgiven Ashwatthama for
Yeah. Yes,
killing her
correct,
son.
correct. Yes, thank you. Also, there is the pastime of
Prithu Maharaj, Prabhu.
who?
Prithu,
Prahlad.
Prithu
Prithu
Maharaj.
Maharaj.
He
Acha,
forgave
Indra.
Indra.
Okay. Yes, that is also there. Thank you. Yes. Yes, Srimati Vasudha Mataji, you want to say?
Hare Krishna. Prabhu Parikshit Maharaj, he forgave Shringi.
Shringi also. Yes. Good. Thank you. So that's what, like, it may be possible that I mean, as a service, one may be expert in preaching, but not to cultivate this quality. That he may get affected if some mistake is committed by another devotee while with respect to him and all. And it's not so, it may take some time and so much effort, counseling to forgive and even forget. Forgive may be easy, but to forget that act, to forgive, it's difficult. So this Sarva Jagata Prenana means it includes this. Okay, then second question. Some very extreme acts of compassion. Okay, Shrikant Prabhu can tell.
Guruji, Haridas Thakur to Lakshira was very compassionate.
Lakshmi, okay, yes. Okay. Yes, Srimati Vasudha Mataji.
Prahlad Maharaj Prabhu for his liberation of his father.
Liberation of father, yes. Yeah, it becomes difficult. Let's say if we are put in that situation, that may not come to pray for that. Yes. Okay, Yashraj Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Nityanand
Hmm.
Prabhuji, in case of Jagai Matai.
Okay, Nitin Prabhu. Fine. Shrikant Prabhu, you have some more?
Guruji, can we say Yudhishthir Maharaj to Dhritarashtra because Dhritarashtra,
Dhritarashtra.
he planned so many things against Pandavas, but then still he showed compassion after the war. He took care of him.
He forgave him, can say. He forgave more, but fine. It seemed like no Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, some mostly his name is Sarang Thakur. He used to go to Kaji's home and tell you should chant Hare Krishna. So, or he would go to crocodile and tell should preach. So he should tell to chant Hare Krishna. So these are like extreme acts of compassion. I mean, externally they are not going to get any material benefits for that activity. They'll not be, they'll not get some rich followers and all. It's like purely out of compassion. So this is that.
Also, one more
Okay.
who's that I'm ready to take all the sins of everyone in this world.
Vasudev Dutt.
If
Yeah. So that kind of prayers may not come. Prayers may come only if somebody is preaching only for them or something. Yeah. So that is there. Yeah.
Prabhu,
So, but
Dadichi Muni also.
the Dechimani also, yes. But of course, it did not happen naturally. He was when he was approached, he understood. But for a devotee, it happens like naturally. It happens. Yes, Yashraj Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have one more example. I heard that there is one devotee, Rasikanand Dev. So he initiated one elephant.
Yes. Yeah, that is also correct. In Vrindavan also there is some Baba's name I don't know. He initiated a lion and the lion used to do Madhukari for him. It is also there. Yeah. Okay, then it is Sir. I think in Barsana it is. So of course, at a sadhaka stage, if you see, one should not consider oneself as advanced if one is engaged in preaching or is successful in preaching. We consider that this is a service to Guru Parampara and to Srila Prabhupada, so that we can get their blessings and become more purified. Okay, next Prabhupada in this next paragraph is describing the Sarva Jagata Anurakta, which means the devotee becomes attractive to the world. Yes, we can read from here.
how the Krishna consciousness movement can attract the attention of the whole world, and how each and every man can feel pleasure in the Krishna consciousness is stated in the Padma Purana as follows. A person who is engaged in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness is to be understood to be doing the best service to the whole world and to be pleasing everyone in the world. In addition to pleasing human society, he is pleasing even the trees and animals because they also become attracted by such movement. A practical example of this was shown by Lord Chaitanya when he was traveling through the forest of Jharkhand in the central India, spreading his Sankirtan movement. The tigers, the elephants, the deers, and all other wild animals joined him and were participating in their own ways by dancing and chanting Hare Krishna.
Yeah, like next, like the qualities, the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. So as a devotee advances, the qualities gets more and more manifested in greater proportions. Then naturally they become attractive. Yeah, like for the above thing, one example was like once Krishnan Prabhu, as many of you may know, so he's traveling with another junior devotee, and so the toll gate has come. Generally, devotees they try to give some Mahaprasad and sticker and all to the toll person so that the toll officer personnel so that they will they'll waive off the toll for them for the devotees. So the devotee is giving it, but the toll person told no, we cannot no waive off the toll. You should give toll. So then he stopped giving Mahaprasad. And okay, they passed by the toll. Then Krishna Prabhu told him, no, actually, you should give him because you are giving prasad so that he will get benefited, whether irrespective of whether he asks you for toll or not. So that is so that sarva jagata prenanam, that it takes time, it takes some advancement to develop that quality. Okay, next, Prabhupada is explaining the Shadguna, that aspect of Shubhadam. Okay, you can read.
Furthermore, a person engaged in Krishna consciousness, acting in devotional service, can develop all good qualities that are generally found in the demigods. It is said that by Sukadeva Goswami in the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 18th chapter, verse 12. My dear king, persons who have unflinching faith in Krishna and are without any duplicity can develop all good qualities of the demigod. On account of a devotee's high grade of Krishna consciousness, even the demigods like to live with him, and therefore it can be understood that the qualities of demigods have developed within his body.
Okay, just a minute. So Bhagavatam, these all 26 qualities of Vaishnava are described. Kripalu, Akruta, Adroha, Titikshu, Sarvadehinam, Satya, Saro, Na Avadhyatma, Shama, Sarva Upakaraka. Here also it was Sarva Upakaraka, means he decides welfare for everyone. Kame Rahata, Adir, Adanto, Mrudu, Suchir, Akinchana. So all like these 26 qualities. So this is what is generally being referred to. Yeah. Yeah. Continue. Yeah, you can continue on the other hand.
Yeah. On the other hand, a person who is not in Krishna consciousness has no good qualities. He may be highly educated from the academic point of view, but in the actual field of his activities, he can be seen to be a baser than the animals. Even though a person is highly educated academically, if he cannot go beyond the sphere of mental activities, then he is sure to perform only material activities and thus remain impure. There are so many persons in the modern world who have been highly educated in the materialistic universities, but it is seen that they cannot take up the movement of Krishna consciousness and develop the high qualities of the demigods.
Yeah. So yeah, in Shastras, there are great sages, demigods who fell prey to lust, anger, greed. So you can just take 2 minutes and think of some instances from Shastra where great people like sages, demigods who fell prey to anarthas. Okay, any examples? Okay, yes, Amrita Mataji.
Prabhu ji, Indra,
Oh, Indra. Okay, which incident?
many incidents are there like Brahma Bimohan, sorry,
Go-
uh, Govardhan
Govardhan.
Leela, Brahma ji and Brahma Bimohan Leela.
Okay, fine. Thank you. We'll hear from others. Yes, Srimati Vasudha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Saubari Muni Prabhu, he married.
Saubari Manu. Yes. So, yeah, he offended Garuda. Yeah. Okay. Sundari Subhadra Mataji.
Prabhu, Dhruva Maharaj, when he went to kill the Yakshas, so although
Hmm.
after getting his revenge, he still continued to kill them.
Yeah, but we are here mainly talking about those who are not devotees. So, fine. Okay, no problem.
Great people.
Yeah, great people, but I mean, what Prabhupada is describing is those who are not devotees, even though they may be great,
How?
they will have defects. Okay. Okay, yes, Raj Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So can we say the Durvasa Muni when he offended the Ambrish Maharaj?
Fine, correct. Okay, yes, Shrikant Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Vishwamitra.
Vishwamitra, yes, okay.
Can
In
we,
Menaka and yes.
can we say Bharat Maharaj also attached to deer?
No, we are not talking about devotees.
Okay.
Prabhu,
So the point.
Daksha
Yes,
offended to Lord Shiva.
Daksha. Okay, yes. So those, though somebody may be great but not a devotee, so they cannot develop all these qualities. Now some question may come. Like no, somebody may be practicing for so many years, a decade or so, and why these qualities are not getting developed, or why they don't remain consistent and all. So this is being talked about of a devotee who's at Nishtha. So then the qualities that are developed, they remain prominent and they remain consistent also. So one symptom of Nishtha, as described in Madhurya Kadam, is they don't get tired in doing bhajan. So one can check for like at least somebody like any one of you, like yesterday they chanted more rounds or 64 rounds. So one has not got tired or like no, okay, when this will get finished, that calculation time and all is not happening, and one is just going on chanting. So those are like symptoms of Nishtha. So then they can expect these qualities to remain consistent. Even for sadhakas also qualities will manifest, but they may not remain consistent. At times they may get again overpowered by anarthas, etc. Yeah. Okay, read these two paragraphs.
For example, a Krishna conscious boy, even if he is not very well educated by the university standard, can immediately give up all illicit sex life, gambling, meat eating, and intoxication. Whereas those who are not in Krishna consciousness, although very highly educated, are often drunkards, meat eaters, sex mongers, and gamblers. These are practical proofs of how a Krishna conscious person becomes highly developed in good qualities, whereas a person who is not in Krishna consciousness cannot do so. We experience that even a young boy in Krishna consciousness is unattached to cinemas, nightclubs, naked dance shows, restaurants, liquor shops, etc. He becomes completely freed. He saves his valuable time for being extravagantly spent in the way of smoking, drinking, attending the theater, and dancing. One who is not in Krishna consciousness usually cannot sit silently even for half an hour. The yoga system teaches that if you become silent, you will realize that you are God. This system may be alright for the materialistic persons, but how long will they be able to keep themselves silent? Artificially, they may sit down for a so called meditation, but immediately after the yogic performance, they will be engaged in themselves again in such activities as illicit sex, gambling, meat eating, and many other inconsiderate things. But a Krishna conscious person But a Krishna conscious person gradually elevates himself without endeavoring for this so called silent meditation. Simply because he is engaged in Krishna consciousness, he automatically gives up all this nonsense and develops a high character. One develops the highest character by becoming a pure devotee of Krishna. The conclusion is that no one can truly have any good qualities if he is lacking Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. So yeah, without Krishna consciousness, logically it is also like if one is not able to see everyone as a part and parcel of Krishna, one will not be inclined to do welfare for everyone. They will only be limited in their scope of welfare activities. And unless one understands Krishna is the supreme proprietor and controller, then one will not respect the Vedas and cannot follow the Vedas. So then obviously, so one will commit some sinful activity, etc. So then now actually Prabhupada is describing the fifth quality, Sandrananda Visheshasna. But yeah, we'll come to it back. Or we will come to this again. Maybe first we will study these two. First we'll study. No, so now first two we have studied, which is Kleshagni and Shubhada. These are the qualities that characteristics of devotional service that become more prominent at Nishta stage. Now the qualities we'll study is Sudurlabha and Moksha Lagata Krut. These qualities become fully manifest and properly manifest at the stage of Bhava. So this is the rareness of pure devotional service. Okay, you can read.
In the preliminary phase of spiritual life, there are different kinds of austerities, penances, and similar processes for attaining self realization. However, even if an executor of these processes is without any material desire, he still cannot achieve devotional service. And aspiring by oneself alone to achieve devotional service is also not very hopeful because Krishna does not agree to award devotional service to merely anyone. Krishna can easily offer a person material happiness or even liberation, but he does not agree very easily to award a person engagement in his devotional service. Devotional service can in fact be attained only through the mercy of a pure devotee. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 19.151, it is said, by the mercy of spiritual master who is a pure devotee and by the mercy of Krishna, one can achieve the platform of devotional service. There is no other way.
Yeah, so here what is being referred to this, no? Krishna does not agree to award devotional service. So here this devotional service is being referred to what is called as Bhava Bhakti, not Sadhana Bhakti. Now you may say, "Arey, how this verse is correct?" Because many around us are becoming devotees, new people there. Some like whatever in a year at least few hundreds are becoming devotees. So overall ISKCON, if you say okay 1,000 or no, so many books are getting distributed. So how you can say Krishna will not give so easily? So the devotional service that is being referred here is Bhava Bhakti, not uh, sadhana bhakti or no or something. And also the bhava bhakti is very difficult to attain because it is not so easy. Like even bhakti also is rare because unless one gets in touch with a pure devotee, one cannot start devotional service. In that way, it is rare. But even though one starts devotional service, to reach bhava bhakti is very, very rare. So, so that's what like attaining Bhava Bhakti is rare. Like Gaurang Pro gives this analogy, like the exam is difficult. Like Bhakti is difficult. Now also Bhakti is difficult, but only thing is the chance to write exam is given for many. But still the exam is difficult. Like what Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, they gave the chance to perform devotional service to many. But still, the devotional service is difficult. In those attaining Bhava Bhakti, that will be few only. Not everyone will attain it. It's not easy. It may take lifetimes, whatever. Yes, you can read this, the rarity of devotion.
The rarity of devotional service is also confirmed in Tantra Shastra, where Lord Shiva says to Sati, "My dear Sati, if one is very fine philosopher, analyzing the different processes of knowledge, he can achieve liberation from the material entanglement. By performance of the ritualistic sacrifices recommended in the Vedas, one can be elevated to the platform of pious activities and thereby enjoy the material comforts of the life to the fullest extent. But all such endeavors can hardly offer anyone devotional service to the Lord, not even if one tries for it by such processes for many, many thousands of births." In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is also confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj that merely by personal efforts or by instructions of higher authorities, one cannot attain to the stage of devotional service. One must become blessed by the dust of the lotus feet of pure devotee who is completely freed from the contamination of material desire. In the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, sixth chapter, verse 18, Narada also says to Yudhishthira, "My dear king, it is Lord Krishna, known as Mukunda, who is the eternal protector of the Pandavas and the Yadus. He is also your spiritual master and the instructor in every respect. He is the only worshipable God for you. He is very dear and affectionate, and he is the director of all your activities, both individual and familial. And what's more, he sometimes carries out your orders as if he were your messenger. My dear king, you are how very fortunate you are, because for others, all these favors given to you by the Supreme Lord would not even be dreamt of. The purport of this verse is that the Lord easily offers liberations, but he rarely agrees to offer a soul devotional service, because by devotional service, the Lord himself becomes purchased by the devotee.
Yeah, so this devotional service is referring to Bhava Bhakti, because Pandavas, of course, in one sense, they are even above Bhava Bhakti. But so such devotional service, Lord does not easily give, because one will attain that Bhava to Lord also by the mercy of the Lord only, because one cannot by his effort achieve Bhava Bhakti. So Bhava Bhakti has to be bestowed by Lord himself. And at Bhava Bhakti, one will develop a particular strong inclination for rasa of one of the five primary rasas with Krishna. Especially, it is called as technically called as rati, and then uh, be, around that one will develop emotions towards Krishna. So again, that six symptoms of Bhava Bhakti also are out there. One will be constantly engaged in chanting and hearing about Lord, Dhainyata, all that. One will aspire to stay in Vrindavan. So those are all things out there. So that kind of bhakti, uh, Krishna does not give for anyone and everyone. So that's what here Narad Muni is telling to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Others cannot even dream of that. So then the another symptom of Bhava Bhakti is moksha lagata krit, which means one will not desire liberation. Yeah. Read this first paragraph.
Srila Rupa Goswami says that if Brahmananda, or the happiness of becoming one with Supreme, is multiplied by 1 trillion fold, it still cannot be compared to an atomic fraction of the happiness derived from the ocean of devotional service. The
Okay.
practical.
So fine. It's like the happiness in Brahmananda is like the money in your pocket. And the the happiness in bhakti is like the money in the bank. So that is there. So practical symptom of this is uh, even in the greatest possible suffering one can imagine, a devotee does not desire. A devotee at this stage who is experiencing this particular characteristic of devotional service, he will not desire freedom from that suffering, from that particular situation, which is extremely suffering, and he will only desire devotional service and continues to do devotional service. So he can like if a devotee is in a very very severe illness, but still they will not pray to Krishna, please get rid of this illness and all. So, so you can think of some examples of devotees who are like unshaken from their devotion service, even in greatest suffering. We can take 2 minutes and then we'll discuss. Okay, yes. Anyone wants to answer? To also tell the situation and devotee. Okay, yes, Yashras Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Can we say Sudama because he has so much financial problem, but still
Mm.
he has an unwavering devotion service.
Okay. He did not pray for Krishna to relieve him from devotional service. He did that because his wife wanted him to ask that. Sorry, did it. Okay. Yes, Ishaya Mataji.
Prabhuji, Jatayu.
Jatayu in what sense?
He wanted to prevent Ravana from kidnapping Mother Sita, and he just wanted that Muhurat where there is a Muhurat, right? Where if Ravana would have kidnapped Sita, then that thing once lost, it does not come back. There was that thing, right?
Yeah.
So at least he knew he could not stop Ravana, but at least he could
Yes.
force
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
He means he's going to get defeated and he has to get
Yeah.
hurt and all, but he did not mind that. Okay, thank you. Yes, Sharad Murari Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. In our society, Bhakti Swami Maharaj, he has
Yeah,
under
bone cancer, which is
yeah.
very difficult. Yes. Okay. And yes, Shrikant Prabhu.
Jai Pataka Swami Maharaj.
Yes.
And
Okay.
daughter is saying Bhishma Pitama. He was lying on the
Yeah.
bed.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yes, Srimati Vasita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhupada Prabhu.
Okay. Yes,
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada. Heart attacks were there. And so much poverty was there in US, but still.
But still he's strong in devotion.
Yes. Okay. Sundari Subhadra Mataji.
Prabhuji Haridas Thakur, even in the last time of his life, he was praying to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that I am not able to complete my rounds.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Ambarish Maharaj also. Like
Okay.
he was
Yes.
being faced with death, or Dhruva Muni tried to curse him,
Yes.
but he was not affected by that.
Yes. Correct. Thank you. Yeah. So this is like irrespective of what type of situation, they don't complain any situation. But at a sadhaka level, one may one for some situations one may be okay, but some particular situations then they may say no, no, not this thing. They say no, if let's say salary is decreased, then okay, but they don't want, no, no, I don't want this. If job goes away, then they may get affected. So the practice of devotional service may get affected. The consciousness may get affected. So that is there. So that's all. At Bhava Bhakti, one can expect these kind of things. Yes, Yashas Prabhu want to say some example or
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can
Mm.
we say Kunti Maharani also? Because she prayed to the Lord, I want suffering.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, fine. Okay, yes, Prabhu, you can read from here.
In the Hari Bhakti Shuddhodaya, Prahlad Maharaj, while satisfying Lord Narasimhadev by his prayers, says, My dear Lord of the universe, I am feeling transcendental presence and have become merged in the ocean of happiness. I now consider the happiness of Brahmananda to be no more than the water in the impression left by the cow's hoof in the earth compared to this ocean of bliss. Similarly, it is confirmed in the Bhavartha Dipika, Sridhar Swami's commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam. My dear Lord, some of the fortunate persons who are swimming in the ocean of your nectar of devotion and who are relishing the nectar of the narration of your pastimes certainly know ecstasies which immediately minimize the value of happiness derived from the religious, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Such a transcendental devotee regards any kind of happiness other than the devotional service as no better than the straw in the street. Actually, I could not hear you. I don't know, maybe problem at my side.
Yeah, so these are the symptoms of Bhava Bhakti. These are two, like Sudurlabha and Mokshalabha. Now we will go through the symptoms of Prema Bhakti, which is Sandrananda Visheshatma and Sri Krishna Krishan. Like, yeah, like the example, like how a devotee, like an outside person may not mind working hard because he's earning money, because that experience of that happiness is there. So they may not mind working hard. The same way, like for a devotee, that experience of ecstasy is there. So they don't so much consider also they are suffering something or something like that. Okay. Uh, yes, you can read from here.
Srila Rupa Goswami has analyzed the different sources of happiness. He has divided happiness into three categories, which are the happiness derived from material enjoyment, happiness derived by identifying oneself with the Supreme Brahman, and happiness derived from Krishna consciousness. In the Tantra Shastra, Lord Shiva speaks to his wife Sati in this way. My dear wife, a person who has surrendered himself at the lotus feet of Govinda and who has thus developed pure Krishna consciousness can be very easily awarded all perfections desired by the impersonalists. And beyond this, he can enjoy the happiness achieved by the pure devotees. Happiness derived from the pure devotional service is the highest because it is eternal. The happiness derived from material perfection or understanding oneself to be Brahman is inferior because it is temporary. There is no preventing one's falling down from material happiness, and there is even every chance of falling down from spiritual happiness derived out of identifying oneself with the impersonal Brahman. It has been seen that great Mayavadi impersonally sannyasis, very highly educated and almost realized souls, may sometimes take to political activities or to the social welfare activities. The reason is that they actually do not derive any ultimate transcendental happiness in the impersonal understanding and therefore must come down to the material platform and take to such mundane affairs. There are many instances, especially in India, where these Mayavadi sannyasis descend to the material platform again, but a person who is fully in Krishna consciousness will never return to any sort of material platform, however alluring and attractive they may be. He always knows that no material welfare activities can compare to the spiritual activity of Krishna consciousness. The mystic perfections achieved by actually successful yogis are 8 in number. Anima Siddhi refers to the power by which one can become so small that he can enter into a stone. Modern scientific improvements also enable us to enter into stone because they provide for excavating so many subways, penetrating the hills, etc. So, Anima Siddhi, the mystic perfection of trying to enter into a stone, has already been achieved by material science. Similarly, all of the yogi siddhis or perfections are material arts. For example, in one yogi siddhi, there is development of power to become so light that one can float in the air or on water. This has also been performed by modern scientists. They are flying in the air, they are floating on the surface of water, and they are traveling under the water. After comparing all these mystic yoga siddhis to materialistic perfections, we can find that the materialistic scientists try for the same perfections. So actually, there is no difference between mystic perfections and materialistic perfections. A German scholar once said that the so-called yoga perfections had already been achieved by the modern scientist, and so he was not concerned with them. He intelligently went to India to learn how he could understand his eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord by the means of Bhakti Yoga, that is devotional service. Of course, in the categories of mystic perfections, there are certain processes which the material scientists have not yet been able to develop. For instance, a mystic yogi can enter into a sun planet simply by using the rays of the sunshine. This perfection is called Lagima. Similarly, a yogi can touch the moon with his finger. Though the modern astronauts go to the moon with the help of spaceships, they undergo many difficulties, whereas the person with mystic perfection can extend his hand and touch the moon with his finger. This siddhi is called prapti or acquisition. With this prapti siddhi, not only can the perfect mystic yogi touch the moon planet, but he can extend his hand anywhere and take whatever he likes. He may be sitting thousands of miles away from a certain place, and if he likes to take a fruit from a garden there, this is prapti siddhi. The modern scientists have manufactured nuclear weapons with which they can destroy an insignificant part of the planet, of this planet. But the yoga siddhi known as Ishita, one can create and destroy an entire planet simply at will. Another perfection is called Vashita, and by this perfection, one can bring anyone under his control. This kind of hypnotism, which is almost irresistible. Sometimes it is found that a yogi who may have attained a little perfection in this Vashita mystic power comes out among the people and seeks all sort of nonsense, speaks all sorts of nonsense, controls their mind, exploits them, takes their money, and then goes away. There is another mystic perfection which is known as prakamya, that is magic. By this prakamya power, one can achieve anything he likes. For example, one can make water enter into his eye and then again come out from within the eye. Simply by his will, he can perform such wonderful activities. The highest perfection of mystic power is called Kamavashayita. This is also magic, but whereas the Prakamya power acts to create wonderful effects within the scope of nature, Kamavasayita permits one to contradict nature. In other words, to do the impossible. Of course, one can derive great amounts of temporary happiness by achieving such yogic materialistic perfections. Foolishly, people who are enamored of the glimmer of modern materialistic advancement are thinking that the Krishna consciousness movement is for less intelligent men. I am better off being busy with my material comforts, maintaining a nice apartment, family, and sex life. These people do not know that at any moment they can be kicked out of this material situation. Due to ignorance, they do not know that the real life is eternal. The temporary comforts of the body are not the goal of life, and it is due to the darkest ignorance that people become enamored of the glimmering advancement of material comforts. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has therefore said that the advancement of the material knowledge renders a person more foolish because it causes one to forget his real identity by its glimmer. This is doom for him because this human form of life is meant for getting out of material contamination. By the advancement of material knowledge, people are becoming more and more entangled in the material existence. They have no hope of being liberated from this catastrophe.
Okay, so Prabhupada initially told how Rupa Goswami enlisted the three types of happiness. So material happiness, Jadanand, then Brahmanand, spiritual happiness, then the happiness in devotional service, the Bhakti Anand. So Prabhupada explained how initially the spiritual happiness of Brahman, uh, that can get interrupted if uh, as we also discussed earlier, like if the Jnana Yogi, when he is in the still he got liberated, but he has not went to spiritual world. He got liberated in the physical body. So if he, let's say, if he has develops an offensive tendency towards Bhagavan or devotees, then he will lose the perfection and he may get entangled in materialistic activities. So worldly activities. So that way there is possibility of an interruption in Brahmanand. Then about material happiness, Prabhupada initially told that there is it is well known, like it always has a limitation. Then Prabhupada also told about the happiness of yoga, of the mystic perfections, 9 mystic perfections. So Prabhupada explained how there are more or less, they are also equivalent to some material achievements, as material achievements also has some limited enjoyment. So even the yogic perfections also have limited enjoyment that way. So it is out of ignorance that they want for these things and they are limited. The happiness coming from them is limited. So the happiness in bhakti is eternal and it is superior, because that just now we read, it is like 1 trillion times the happiness in Brahmanand, and it is ever increasing also. Anandambudi Vardhanam. So sadhu sadhu swadu swadu pade pade. So that is there. Okay, yes, you can continue.
In Hari Bhakti Shuddhodaya, it is stated that Prahlad Maharaj, a great devotee of the Lord, prayed to Narsimhadev, a half lion, half man incarnation, as follows: My dear Lord, I repeatedly pray unto your lotus feet that I may simply be stronger in devotional service. I simply pray that my Krishna consciousness may be more strong and steady, because happiness derived out of Krishna consciousness and devotional service is so powerful that with it one can have all the other perfections of religions, economic development, sense gratification, and even the attainment of liberation from material existence. Actually, a pure devotee does not aspire after any of these perfections, because the happiness derived from the devotional service in Krishna consciousness is so transcendental and so unlimited that no other happiness can compare to it. It is said that even one drop of happiness in Krishna consciousness stands beyond comparison with the ocean of happiness derived from any other activity. Thus, any person who has developed even a little quality of pure devotional service can very easily kick out all other kinds of happiness derived from religiousness, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation.
Okay. Yeah. So these are the symptoms. So, so the symptom of this is one can easily reject any type of happiness. So yeah, you can think of, yeah, can think for 2 minutes. Some examples of devotees who rejected great temptations because of being very advanced in bhakti. Great temptations. So Okay, yes. Anyone wants to answer? No one else. Okay, Shrikant will continue.
Even is Vishwamitra, third time when he was allured, he could control his temptation.
Mm, Okay.
Was it because of his being advanced in devotional service,
No,
or
no. Third time, what is the temptation?
I think the first two times like those Menka and then I
Ramba.
think Ramba.
Then
I think one more, I think, right? Or second time, I don't know. One he was able to control his temptation.
no, third time I don't know what is it. That incident actually happens that Trishanku comes to him and he creates a planet. He creates another Swarga planet, and that goes out of control. Then he gets really bewildered. Then he prays to Lord Narayan. So then Lord Narayan comes and he controls the planet, and then he understands that he should become a devotee. Something like that.
Right,
That's what like Vaishnav will repeat in his classes and all.
right.
Okay, Srimati Vasudha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hmm.
Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj Prabhu.
What?
It's not due to temptation, but he was recently married that time. That time Prabhupada said, instructed him to take sannyas. So immediately he gave up that and he
Okay,
take.
that pastime is who you're saying Tamal Krishna Maharaj?
Yes, Prabhu.
No, that is little reverse. Actually, it is of course transcendental. He actually readied everything himself for sannyas and he asked Prabhupada again. I mean, Prabhupada also knows he's qualified. Yeah, but okay. Yeah, that is there. Though he got recently married, he lost all the temptation and love. There are some easy. Okay, Ishaya Mataji.
Prabhuji, can we say Prithu Maharaj because he did 99 Ashwamedh Yagyas and then for the 100 when Indra.
Okay. Yes. For the pleasure of Lord Vishnu, he gave it to that to be known as that Shatakrutu and that. Okay. Yes, there is some.
Haridas Thakur.
What pastor?
Both Lakshahira past time actually.
Hmm.
Ayadevi
Okay.
herself also came. He was able
Okay.
to.
Yes. Yeah, this is a very easy example. Correct. Okay.
Prabhuji, Dhruva
Hmm.
Maharaj,
Dhruv Maharaj,
Dhruva,
which one?
Lord Krishna is giving him, asking him what you want, and he rejected. I got your association.
That pieces of pieces of glass. Yes. Correct. Yeah, so these are some examples. So that shows how they are experiencing such happiness that they don't want anything else in the material world, or when something is offered like that, they don't want it. Yeah, for sadhakas, it's like this for sadhaka, it becomes a conscious detachment from material pleasures. But for siddhas, it becomes unconsciously. Like if somebody is even if a devotee after becoming a devotee also because of some previous conditioning and all if somebody if even in the office if somebody sees who is in a higher position then initially that temptation, oh, I also should become like that something, but then okay, consciously one may think, no, if we get into this we may get distracted away from devotional service, then we should not do and all. Or if somebody sees some celebrity or comes across online, sometimes temptation may, oh, if I also become like that, it would have been so nice. Then okay, no, this is all materialistic becomes. But for siddhas, those are advanced devotees, uh, these thoughts may not doesn't just even pass through their consciousness. They initially think, oh, still he's not Krishna conscious. How they may pray, no, let him become Krishna conscious or something like that. So, so this is about no, the Shadgosamis. Radha kundatate kalinditanaya tire javam shivate प्रेमोन्मादवसद् अशेषदशया क्रस्तौ प्रमत्तौ सदा गायन्तौ च कदा हरेर्गुणवरम् भावाभिभूतौ मुदा वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are sometimes on the bank of Radhakund Lake or the shores of Yamuna, and sometimes at Vanshi Vat. There they appeared just like madmen in the full ecstasy of love for Krishna, exhibiting different transcendental symptoms in their bodies, and they were merged in the ecstasy of Krishna consciousness. So they are merged. So for them, the external world doesn't make any impact on them. So that is the thing. Okay. Yeah. Two more paragraphs. You can read this.
There was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya known as Kolavich Sridhar, who was a very poor man. He was doing a small business selling cups made from the leaves of plantain trees, and his income was almost nothing. Still, he was spending 50% of his small income on the worship of the Ganges, and with other 50%, he was somehow living. Lord Chaitanya once revealed himself to this confidential devotee, Kolavicha Sridhar, and offered him any opulence he liked. But Sridhar informed the Lord that he did not want any material opulence. He was quite happy in the present position and wanted only to get unflinching faith and devotion unto the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. That is the position of pure devotee. If they can be engaged 24 hours each day in devotional service, they do not want anything else, not even the happiness of liberation or becoming one with the Supreme. In the Narada Pancharatra, it is also said that any person who has developed even a small amount of devotional service doesn't care a fig for any kind of happiness derived from religiousness, economic development, sense gratification, or the five kinds of liberation. Any kind of happiness derived from religiousness, economic development, liberation, or sense gratification cannot even dare to enter into the heart of a pure devotee. It is stated that that as the personal attendants and maid servants of the queen follow the queen with all respect and obeisances. Similarly, the joys of religiousness, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation follow the devotional service of the Lord. In other words, the pure devotee does not lack any kind of happiness derived from any source. He does not want anything but service to Krishna. But even if he should have another desire, Lord fulfills this without the devotees asking.
So this is that like which means all these happinesses are included in devotional service means the happiness in devotional service is more than the happiness that one can derive from all these other things. Maybe we'll just finish that last part. It is small only. Yeah. So attracting Krishna. This is Sri Krishna Akarshani. This is Prema Bhakti. Of course, that type of consciousness one will attain it Prema Bhakti. Yes, you can read.
Srila Rupa Goswami has stated that devotional service attracts even Krishna. Krishna attracts everyone, but devotional service attracts Krishna. The symbol of devotional service is the highest degree in Radharani. Krishna is called Madan Mohan, which means that he is so attractive that he can defeat the attraction of thousands of cupids. But Radharani is still more attractive, for she can even attract Krishna. Therefore, devotees call her Madan Mohan Mohini, the attractor of the cupid. To perform devotional service means to follow in the footsteps of Radharani. The devotees in Vrindavan put themselves under the care of Radharani in order to achieve perfection in their devotional service. In other words, devotional service is not an activity of the material world, it is directly under the control of Radharani. In Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that the Mahatmas or the great souls are under the protection of Daivi Prakriti or internal energy, which is Radharani. So, being directly under the control of the internal potency of Krishna, devotional service attracts even Krishna himself.
Okay, you can read.
This fact is corroborated by Krishna in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 14th chapter, verse 20, where he says that, my dear Uddhava, you may know it from me that the attraction I feel for devotional service rendered by my devotees is not to be attained even by the performance of mystic yoga, philosophical speculation, ritualistic sacrifices, and the study of the Vedanta, the practice of severe austerities, or the giving of everything in charity. These are, of course, very nice activities, but they are not as attractive to me as the transcendental loving service rendered by my devotees.
Okay. Yeah, this one paragraph you can read.
How Krishna becomes attracted by devotional service of his devotees is described by Narada in Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 10th chapter, verse number 48 and 49. There, Narada addresses King Yudhishthira while the king is appreciating the glories of the character of Prahlad Maharaj. A devotee always appreciates the activities of other devotees. Yudhishthira Maharaj was appreciating the qualities of Prahlad, and that is one symptom of a pure devotee. A pure devotee never thinks himself great. He always thinks that other devotees are greater than himself. The king was thinking, Prahlad Maharaj is actually a devotee of Lord, while I am nothing. And while thinking this, he was addressed by Narada as follows: My dear King Yudhishthira, you, the Pandava brothers, are the only fortunate people in this world. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has appeared on this planet and is presenting himself to you as an ordinary human being. He is always with you in all circumstances. He is living with you, covering himself from the eyes of others. Others cannot understand that he is the Supreme Lord, but he is still living with you as your cousin, as your friend, as your messenger. Therefore, you must know that nobody in this world is more fortunate than you.
Yeah. So the devotional service of Pandavas, because it is they are at that level of prema bhakti, so that attracted Krishna and that made Krishna subservient to Pandavas. He's he's acting as a messenger, as a charioteer, etc. So so this applies mainly to the devotees at prema bhakti, that Krishna himself becomes attracted to their devotional service. Yes, even for sadhakas also, Krishna is appreciative of their devotional service, but getting attracted and wanting to become subservient, that becomes applied in for those who are very advanced at prema stage generally. Okay, so we completed the 6 characteristics. Any questions on this? Anything? Okay, so if there are no questions, we will continue in the next Saturday. So thank you very much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki jai, Shri Rupa Goswami ki jai. Thank you very much. Once I will put the pause.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Dharma Prabhu, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Dandavat.
Thank you.
Prabhupada.